Kwa majina ni yani nakujua na niko na marafiki.
Are you listening?
This is Kioko, and I'm Detlef Müller-Mahn, Professor of Development Geography at the University of Bonn. And in my research, I was always very fond of collaborating with partners in the Global South. So this time, Eric and me are actually running a project together, which is part of the Collaborative Research Center.
My name is Eric Kioko. I am a social anthropologist, having studied at the University of Cologne, and now I'm currently working at Kenyatta University and at the University of Bonn again.
What we're doing here is something new. We are teaching a course with students, some of them sitting here in this room, some being at home, and some being some 4,500, 5,000 kilometers away. Doing something like this may be extremely exciting. It's something new, and it brings us into a new quality of learning.
This concept of translocal learning actually emerged over several years. I've done this kind of joint field schools already a couple of times, and now under the impact of COVID, we realized that we could do this in a much more systematic way. Doing the course together from the very beginning. That is the idea of translocal learning. So learning is no longer attached to one particular place, but you can do it anywhere in the world. And that's what we did. So we did a joint Zoom-based preparatory seminar for the German and the Kenyan students together. And then the Germans traveled to Kenya to meet their Kenyan colleagues. And then after the excursion, we zoomed into the area where we did our research, the study, together in order to learn how much fun it is to work together in interdisciplinary but also in intercultural teams.
We are trying to make the best out of these different words, to make the word something like a pluri-word, different perspectives which complement each other and which help us to learn something about different approaches to topics and problems.
What we did here was a combination of two courses. One was a seminar and then the excursion. So the field school actually is not really part of this program, but personally I believe this is the key of what we did. That's where students from both sides profited most. And this might be something to be improved a little bit more in the future, so that it could also be included in the curriculum.
I hope that is not an advertisement to the company. This is something exciting, even for the students. And we also get to learn a lot and to practice the theory that we have been learning during the seminar.
One of the things that, or perspectives about research, people look at research in former academia, underlining the importance of research fitting into development and also other innovations, policy, practice, and all that. This becomes very important.
There are a lot of prejudices about Africa, about our communities, about our environments, and therefore when you are in this kind of a context, you are able to understand and to see things the way they are.
I look at the whole group as pioneers or people who will be able to propagate the research findings, help in development, but also contributing to global debates.
Mixing them up brought another interesting perspective, that there is cross-learning, intercultural exchanges, and also the disciplinarity behind it, that people from different disciplines, the complementarity of these disciplines was quite key.
Kwa majina ni yani nakujua
All on the bus.
na niko na marafiki. Furaha ni kuwa na marafiki. Furaha ni kulewa na marafiki. Furaha ni kuwa na marafiki. Furaha ni kulewa na marafiki. Kwa sherehe tumefika. Sherehe tumefika. Kwa sherehe tumefika.
We are right here on top of one of the highest buildings of Nairobi to take a look at the city in the dust. The population of the colonial city from the very beginning was a mixed population.
So Nairobi was once a forested area, and the occupants then were the hunters and gatherers. We call them the Dorobo. So essentially, Nairobi, for some people, belongs to the Maasai. There's not the big difference between the Dorobos because there was a lot of exchanges of livestock, and the so-called Dorobos, the hunter-gatherers, became Maasai. We have almost every ethnic group represented. How does a city that was designed for about 500,000 people, how is it able to carry more than 5 million people? So that is a question that baffles everybody. You notice that for them to be able to do their business, then there's a lot of calculation and a lot of negotiation of space. Another aspect of urban anthropology you notice is there's a lot of something we call formal informalities. So things that are informal, that are more or less become formal or formalized. So Nairobi is an example of the poorest in the richest.
It's not enough to look at places just from the top, but you have to go there, you have to dive into the environment.
And here in Kibera, this is where we make magic. Here in Kibera, this is the largest slum in Africa, you know. We used to have South Africa, Soweto, but now people, you need to know about Kibera. I never went to university. I was just a ghetto boy here, riding motorbike, and then I got this opportunity in this organization of producing music, you know.
We are 90-something% efficient in terms of the energy supply and consumption. But during the peak season, we need 400 kilowatts per hour. Avocado processing, mango processing, and for that type of waste, we do composting with it, and then we move the compost back to the farm. So we are always intending to do a full circular economy kind of model. We do dry our macadamia nuts in phases, and we dry it up to 3% moisture content. We have smaller sizes, larger sizes, we have half nuts, we have whole nuts. So all these categories have to be sorted differently. Our intention is to continue empowering our farmers, and we cannot do that if we don't purchase what they're producing from the farm, and if we don't handle it properly.
All the knowledge I had, I brought it here to this small farm of mine, so that you who is interested in doing farming don't say that we don't have water. You know, in Kenya, most of the people, they are running closer to the river so that they can do proper farming. This, imagine now, this is our field. Greenhouse is one, and an open field. So you use the solar because it is not all of us who has the power. And also, as a small-scale farmer, we are trying as much as possible to run away from the cost. We pump that water through the filter and then to the pipes. It is ourselves who have created all those problems. Okay?
Yeah, you're right.
So, to reduce that problem, we need to advise our people. Try and harvest your water. The only thing we need as a farmer to be is only to be smart here, so that you don't die. So when you finish your school, go back to the farm. Do something.
Tea is one of the cash crop, despite the fact that tea and coffee has been affected, the prices, and forcing farmers to abandon the crop. But for tea, it is the prices are a bit stable.
I am Julius Kadi, EBT. I'm the chairman of Timor Water Resource Users Association.
This is an association which is officially registered with the government.
When the river has the minimum water to cater for subsistence, as for domestic, livestock, and ecosystem. And this is the prioritization. And this is when the RUA comes in handy, because this is the most critical period when the downstream people don't get water.
What mostly we get to do, we have programs. Each zone has its own program for rationing, where people tend to ration their water depending on the quality of water, or the quantity of water.
So there must be a negotiation for this critical moment. When do we get water and for what purpose? There is a point whereby the crop is not as important as human beings and livestock. So this is the most critical moment for the grassroots institutions to agree and to see what happens.
To manage that, we have stationed several of our members, the rural members, in different places.
The underlying key problem of growing water demand uphill and the people down here being cut off from the water is unresolved. It's a political problem. What you do see here is an economic activity, sand harvesting. That's a major business, which is very destructive. One advice I would give, don't be afraid. The world is friendly because you meet friendly people everywhere, and that's what you've seen. So these personal relations and friendships are the basis for collaboration. That's the first thing. The second thing as an advice would be, the world is just so exciting. So don't hang around at home, but go somewhere. Try to get to know places, but go there.
The last tip I may say is that we need to continue this kind of a network that you have started between the Germans and the Kenyans, because this is the future.
I am happy today, so happy. I am happy today, so happy. Sisi ni walevi, sisi ni walevi. Tunapenda kamnyweso, tunapenda kamnyweso. Furaha ni kuwa na marafiki, furaha ni kulewa na marafiki, furaha ni kuwa na marafiki, furaha ni kulewa na marafiki.
Hapa fake friends hapantambua, na ikifika weekend wanantambua. King wa sherehe natokianga nimeiva, na mapainting safi safi wameiva. Lot kulipoka, lot tuchomeliva. Mbono kwen shock, right kupita man mabangi imekuchoka umekuwa black alupita. Pointi marangi brother ndiye alikuwa na pita.
Noma inanifanya nisikie kudance, ini kiboko yao. Summertime niko na mapatika, kando ni madance. Kiboko yao ni noma inanifanya nisikie kudance. Summertime niko sama patika, kando ni madance. Kiboko yao. I'm happy today, so happy. I am happy today, so happy. Sisi ni walevi, sisi ni walevi. Tunapenda kamnyweso, tunapenda kamnyweso. Furaha ni kuwa na marafiki, furaha ni kulewa na marafiki, furaha ni kuwa na marafiki, furaha ni kulewa na marafiki. Weka leta pombe, leta pombe. Weka leta pombe, leta pombe. Tunalewa popote na tunakunywa bia yoyote, hatuogopi chochote, au tununue iba yote. Gubile wedo, tamurata, stupendana tukiwa maji, hata bila ganzi, na Japani digitalia, tunaona mbali, mula tuweke hai.
Well, I had my favorite place for mango juice right now in Naivasha, but I learned today I didn't get it any longer because they said the season is over. So we have to wait for another year maybe.
But of course, if you're on your way to Nakuru, Delamere,
Delamere.
They have the best mango juice.